Okay, attempt number two at making this video. Anyway, the other day I was taking a stroll over to my father's house where his friend was essentially stealing half of his record collection because he just got an iPod and he's going to Thailand. So he wants to put everything that my dad has essentially onto his iPod. And then they left, and I was looking at the remains of all the CDs and vinyl LPs thrown out onto the tables and floor, and I come across an album that I wanted for a long time, and it is The Great Escape by the famous Blur. Now, my instincts told me to take it, and people have always told me to follow my instincts, so I took it. And I gave it a couple listens. Now, it's not the first time I listened to it. I had listened to it a couple years back on from Views or LimeWire or something. Um, and this album truly deserves the critic praise that it gets. You know what I mean? The praise from critics that it gets. Because it is one of the best albums of the 1990s, if you know what I'm talking about right here. Now, I think Park Life is a little better, but you can't really compare it to Park Life because although they're both Blur albums, um, where Park Life is close and intimate, this is distant and far away, it feels like. Um, so I guess all I can say is that this album has a little bit of everything. I mean, at the beginning, the first two songs, Stereotypes and Country House, are the heavy, hard rockin' hitters, but there is that type of stuff sprinkled throughout the album. And then the third song is Best Days, which is a slower song that sounds like Beatles-esque, a Sgt. Pepper's Lonely era Beatles song. And speaking of the Beatles, Blur really shows their Beatles and Kinks influences on their album. On this album, they wear them on their sleeve, and all I can say is that it's a perfect combination, a perfect amalgamation of their influences and their own personal style. And this and Park Life were the two albums where it worked beautifully. Now, I'm not saying they didn't make any other good albums. Hell, this other album I'm listening to right now, Blur, um, is also very good, but it's not quite as good as The Great Escape or Park Life. So, anyway, I'll just tell you that this is a classic album review, and I'm honored to be reviewing a classic.